Okay, so the other day on my live stream, I was hot to trot to collect red buds to make the red bud jelly, and I didn't fully read the process. I just went in and started doing, which, can come back to bite you in the behind. Luckily, everything's still good here. I'm going to recollect 2 cups of red buds because I need to redo the process. All right, so collected the red buds. I use just a coffee cup, you guys. I know that this is roughly about 2 cups, maybe just slightly over. So 2 of these. I have a half-gallon jar. I put the red buds in there and I kind of pressed them down. I have 6 cups of water that has just come to a boil. So we're going to make red bud tea as the first step of red bud jelly. So this is boiling. I'm going to hopefully carefully pour this over and not spill it everywhere. Into the half-gallon jar. And there it is. Now what I am going to do is I am going to give this just a little stir. And this is going to set on my counter and come to room temperature for roughly about 2 hours, but no more than 4 hours. And then what I am going to do is I am going to put a piece of plastic wrap or a jar lid, the top and ring, and it's going to go sit in the fridge for 24 hours before we can use it to make the actual jelly. So I'll come back in 24 hours and I will show you guys how to make the red bud jelly. Okay, so getting to the red bud tea. Now that we've collected the red buds, they sat for over 24 hours in the fridge once they came to room temperature. Now I have a bowl and I have this strainer. We're going to go through probably 2 strainers. I'm doubling a recipe, so I'm kind of interested to see how this is going to come out. So we're going to strain this first before anything. So let's get that out. Let me set this over here. And we're going to press the flowers. The recipe, I should have roughly 5 cups of liquid. So we are pressing, getting all of that out. Okay. And it shows that I have basically 5.5 cups. So now I'm going to put it through, though. I'm going to put it through a fine mesh strainer just to make sure any particles are filtered out. So I've got a heavy pot right here, and this is our liquid, you guys. It's really pretty. But again, I've got a very fine strainer. I'm going to strain it through into my pot. And there was still a little bit of sediment in there. Okay. Let me double check my recipe. Because I believe now we add our lemon juice. So let's hope we have enough lemon juice here. So now I'm going to add sorry you guys. I am going to add, where is that recipe? My goodness. Okay, I'm going to add anywhere from 2 to 4 tablespoons of lemon juice. I've got what I've got, so we're going to measure it out. There's one. There's two. There's three. And we've got 4. And it looks like it made it even brighter. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it looks like it made it even brighter. So now I believe we are going to bring this up to a boil. Okay, so we're going to turn our burner on to high. Now I have pectin and sugar mixed together. And it says that we add the sugar and the pectin into the Redbud tea that we've strained and the lemon juice. So we've got the burner, I hope you guys can see. We've got the burner on high. And the Redbud tea was cold, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to whisk this until the pectin is dissolved. And it reaches a rolling boil. I have my jars in my canner. I'm using the little, what are they? They're not half pints, they're like quarter pint, I think. They're the little tiny jars. You guys will see them. We're adding both. The jars are ready. The jars are warm. The jars are ready. So let's get this. This is probably going to take a few minutes. I've also got another 4.5 cups of sugar here. The pectin I am using for this, since it is low sugar, believe it or not, is the low sugar pectin. So I'm going to bring this to a rolling boil. I'm going to add in the rest of my sugar. It'll boil hard once the sugar is in and dissolved for 1 minute. And then I'll bring you guys back right as that's done, and we're going to jar it up. Okay, so that process is done, and I've removed the foam off the top. So what I did was I added my pectin and a portion of the sugar, let that come to a boil. Then I added in all the rest of my sugar, brought it back up to a boil, let it hard boil for 1 minute, shut it off, scraped off the foam. Now I've got my little jars that are warmed, and we're going to fill them, and we're going to water bath can them for 10 minutes. So it's really, really pretty, you guys. It seems awful thin, but I guess we're going to go with it. I did use a recipe and I doubled it, including the pectin. So I still see some foam on top. I'm going to try to avoid it, but we need to get these jars filled so we can get them into the canner. They came out a really, really beautiful color though.
But then again, it's Redbud, so that makes sense. So again, I'm getting these filled. They were warmed. They were ready to go. Get them all filled, and they're going to go into my water bath canner. Obviously, you've got to pour water over the top to 1 inch over the top of the jars, and then they will be processed for 10 minutes. And then we will be able to take them out and see our final product. I've never made redbud jelly before. I've never had a redbud tree. So I figured, hey, let's do it. So get this all filled up. And I probably didn't even need to double batch it, but I did. So I very well may have some left over, which it definitely looks like. And what I will do with that is it will go in a jar and it will cool, and I will put it in my refrigerator. So once I get all these jars filled, I need to double check the headspace on this recipe, which I will do momentarily. We need to double check the headspace, and then we need to wipe our rims, get our lids on, and get it into the canner. So let's see about that headspace real quick. So we want a 1/4 inch of headspace, so I can actually add two. Okay. Well, that's good to know. So let's get some. We're going to do a 1/4 inch of headspace. Okay. Okay. I mean, it looks like it's already wanting to set up. So that's a good thing. I will show you guys one of these jars before I get it into the canner. Again, we need to wipe the rims with vinegar because obviously jelly jams, they're sticky. You don't want anything impeding your seal when you go to can. So that looks about, we're almost there, but I've definitely got some left over. So it looks like I'll be able to try this without having to pop a freshly canned jar. Okay. Let me grab a paper towel. Okay. And vinegar. Let's get these babies wiped without dipping our paper towel into the jelly, preferably. These are hot, 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 hot. Okay. There's one. There's two. And there's three. So, of course, this band doesn't want to go on. Hand tight. When you put your bands on, turn it till you feel resistance, but don't cinch it. So into the canner, into the canner. They're gonna go 10 minutes. When I pull them out, I'll bring you guys back and I think I'll read you guys the recipe. All right. All right, so I just took these babies out of the canner. And there they are. It made, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 of these small guys, and then this did not go in the canner. This is going to come cool down, and it's just going to go in the fridge to use this week. I tasted it. It's got a floral, and you taste a little bit of the lemon. I mean, it's not bad tasting, but if you're expecting like a berry flavor out of this or something, no. So I doubled this recipe, and it called for 2 cups of redbud flowers, 3 cups of water, and then you take your redbud flowers, put them in a pot, pour the water. Wait, no, that's not correct. That's what I did the first time around. I made a mistake. Okay, so you take your redbud flowers and put them in a jar. You pour the hot water over. You let it come to you let it cool, come to room temperature. Put a lid on it, put it in the fridge for 24 hours. Then you strain it. To that, you're going to take your strained liquid into a big pot with 2 tablespoons of lemon juice or 4 tablespoons like I use because I doubled it. And then I use 2 packages of the pectin and a half cup of sugar mixed in a bowl. That goes into the pot. Bring it up to a boil, stirring it constantly. And then you're going to add in 5 cups of sugar. 4.5 cups of sugar. Excuse me. It's late, you guys. I'm tired. And then bring that back up to a boil. You can skim the foam. You could add a tablespoon of butter in to help remove that foam. And then jar it up, wipe your rims, lid it up, 10 minutes, water bath. I did when I was looking up as far as recipes for the Redbud jelly, I found a couple of really cool things about Redbuds. There's some benefits. Now, I'm not a doctor, never claimed to be. Just putting information out there. Redbuds are packed with vitamin C. They have been used in the treatment of fevers and diarrhea. They've also been used, the bark, the roots, as a tea for whooping cough. And I think one of the cooler things that I found out about it was the redbud tree is also known as the Judas tree, and was supposedly the tree that Judas actually hung himself from when he realized what he did to cause Jesus' death. So, yeah, there's lots of recipes. You've got all different shades of red buds. So your jelly could end up red. It could end up pink. I mean, mine obviously is more of a pink color, and it's beautiful. So, yeah, there it is. Stay busy, get in the kitchen, do some things. The warm weather's here.